This is my version of the Minecraft Scoreboard. It's a very simple concept. Uses and possibilities are endless. It's could be using setblock and fill commands mostly, and it's got a slim design. It can be 1 or 2 blocks thick. As you can see here, this is 2 blocks thick, or it can be just 1. The redstone, all that does is light up the numbers. Turn that back on. Okay. This is considered a 7-segment display. And what that means is that it takes 7 segments to make a single number. So what I did is I Googled the term 7-segment display and found this website. It's old school electronics, 7-segment LED. This old type right here. Okay, and it's labeled A through G on the segments. And this is going to be our layout. And this is our truth table here on how we're going to design this. So, to start with, you're going to need a command block. So you want to type in get command block. I like to use Notepad because you can easily copy and paste whatever you need. So you just type in that command, give player command block, and that will give you one. And then if you want to follow the coordinates that I'm using on this, you want to start with a super flat world with no structures. And then you want to teleport to a number. I did, let's see. Let's just figure out where we're at here. I apologize for being such a noob here. I haven't been playing this very long. But we are at 14,425. And that's a good place to teleport to if you want to try to recreate these numbers that I'm using. But to start with, these segments here on the right are going to be in our ones column, which is the right column on the right, and then the tens column will be on the left over here. So the very first thing we want to do is, well, let me turn this off first. Let's shut that off. I want to go ahead and take everything out of here. Okay, now our very first block is going to be this one here. And what this is, let's see, let me kind of backtrack here. Actually, the first thing I did was I got out a piece of paper and I wrote down some coordinates. And our A segment is going to be in row 19 on the height, and then our X coordinates are going to be 12, 13, and 14. Now you can also use like a spreadsheet like this here, might make it easier to work with. But basically our A segment is going to be 12, 13, and 14 in row 19. And then we're going to place that block right here in row 22. This could have been actually centered over here, but that's what I ended up with. So back to this. So our first statement is going to be fill. We're going to be filling between 12 and 14, row 19, and 9 I just picked out of the blue just to make it easy. Okay, so we put that in there. So what happens when we energize this block, that's going to light up our A segment right there. Now when we de-energize it, it's going to fill it with obsidian, because up here this block is exactly the same coordinates, except instead of filling it with the redstone lamp, we're filling it with obsidian. See, this one's got the redstone lamp. Okay, now I've done the same thing for each segment. A through G. There's A, B, C, and so forth, all the way up. D, E, F, and G. So that lights up all our segments there. When we take them down, you can see here that I've got some red torches here, so that when we de-energize that, it energizes this row here, and it'll do it for each individual block. So it's basically turning them off. Now when I first started this out, I didn't know exactly where this was going to end up with. So if you just start with this, and then you can just go up here and then just fill in the rest of this with whatever you want, obsidian or anything you want to use to fill this in with. Right? So or you could just use the fill commands like I use. Like you can just fill in this whole area with something like this here, and that fills in the whole thing. Okay, so that pretty much explains that. Now all we got to do to control these is we have to go to back to our truth table, which is on the website. Okay, back to the truth table. Now when we want a 0 to appear, we want to energize A through F and not energize G. So what we want to do is make a row of command blocks here. So this very first one here, to make a 0 appear, we need 2 blocks. One is going to set block. We want to turn off the G, which is 21, 3, 322. And then we want to fill 15 to 20. Now this is using the truth table. I'm getting lost here. Using our truth table, basically we are filling where we want our redstone blocks to be, which is this row right here. So when we want 0 to appear, we want to fill 15 through 20 in row 22, wherever our command blocks are down here. So that's what these are down here. Now when we want the 1 to appear, we want to energize this row here. Basically, you can just follow these coordinates here that I wrote down. Now when I first started out, I was using all set block commands. For segment A, I was using 3 set blocks, and then I discovered the fill command. This one line here actually does the job of all of 3 blocks. So disregard this here, and this one command will do everything we need it to do. So basically, this turns on our segments. Now down here, when we want, okay, this is where we want to set our redstones blocks. Okay, here we go. Now to make a 0, we want to use these coordinates here. When we want to make a 1, we'll use these. It might be easier just to pause your video right here and then just use these coordinates. It might, to save time. Okay. And also for our 10s, here's all the coordinates I used here on the segments, and these are the coordinates I used for that. Okay, now with that said, now we have to be able to control all those. So to do that, we first need a command block that says we have to create a dummy variable of 10s and 1s. So we can just either type that in the bottom chat, or we can make a command block and put it in there and energize it. Okay, so once we do that, then we need to increment this one at a time. So we use this command, scoreboard players add 1. So that, okay, this block here is using the test for, let's see, back here in our clock, this here, go ahead and get that running. this here is going to add 1 to our ones column every time it gets a pulse from our clock. So every time it gets a pulse there, you can see on the right of the screen there, my ones is going up 1 every time. And also it's getting reflected up there on the board. Let me light that back up. Okay, now also, let's see, this row up here is my ones column, and this row down here is my tens column. So now, we test for each number. So whenever it's a 0, we use this command. So every time it's a 0, it's going to light up these two blocks here, and it's a 0. Every time it's a 1, Scoreboard players test for 1. Every time that's a 1, it's going to light up this row block. Every time it's a 2, it's going to light up this row. And so forth, all the way down to 0. All the way down to 10. Actually, okay, this is going to be 9 here. Should be. Then after 9, when it hits 10, what we're going to do is we're going to set the score to 0, set the ones to 0, and then we're going to increment 1 to the tens column. So this is going to add 1 to the tens row. And it's going to do this over and over until the tens gets all the way up to 9 like it is now. And then it's going to hit this block here, and then it's going to set the ones to 0 and the tens to 0. See, that's going to reset everything to 0. Then it starts all over, counting 0 to 99. Now, it doesn't have to be a timer like this. If you just want to use it to keep track of scores. Got a problem with it. Okay, so if you just want to keep track of scores, all you need to do is add and subtract from whatever column you want. Say you want to add 1 to someone's score. You can do that manually by using this command. Add 1 to the ones. See, it's a 4 now. That makes it a 5. Or you can remove a 1, go back to a 4. Oh, that's the tens column, I'm sorry. Move another one back to 2 on the tens column, or in the ones column. Take 1 away, make it 4, 3, 2, and so forth. And that's using these commands that we used up there that I showed you earlier. That adds 1 to the ones. Remove 1 from the ones, remove 1 from the tens, add 1 to the tens. This here, these commands here, all these do is going to set up our sidebar display. It's not necessary to make the timer work, but if you want the display over here, you have to use this command. This command, this adds the dummy objective, and then also you'll need to use these two here, which makes these numbers appear over here. So you're going to use the operation command for the tens and ones. That's basically how it works. I hope to hear from everybody what their opinions are, or what they can do with this. I know this has got a lot of potential. You can use it for hundreds of different uses. So please let me know what you think, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Thanks for watching.